Hello, word nerds. Thank you for tuning in to this electronic digital on demand podcast thing. It's called The Dictionary. It's a podcast. Tell everybody you know, go rate and review, especially on iTunes. Give me 5 stars and say how you really feel. And download on as many platforms as you can. And become a Patreon. Send me an email, a message, whatever on the things and the stuff. And let's talk about some words. I hope you learned something. First word is bath, B-A-T-H. It is the first form. It is a noun from before the 12th century. 1. A washing or soaking, as in water or steam, of all or part of the body. Number 2. A. Water used for bathing. 2. B1. A contained liquid for a special purpose. 2B2, a receptacle holding the liquid. So the bath can be in the bath. 2C1, a medium for regulating the temperature of something placed in or on it. 2C2, a vessel containing this medium. 3A, we have the synonym bathroom. 3B, a building containing an apartment or a series of rooms designed for bathing. 3C, we have the number 1 definition for the word spa, and it is usually used in plural, so baths or baths. Now we are on 3D. This is British, and we have the synonym swimming pool, and it is also often used in plural. 4A, the quality or state of being covered with a liquid. 4B, we have the number 3 definition for the word flood. 5, we have the synonym bathtub. Number 6, a financial setback. Synonym is loss, as in took a bath in the market. Let's look at the etymology, shall we? This is Middle English from Old English, baeth, B-A-E-T-H, or B-Ash-T-H. Akin to the Old High German bad, B-A-D, which means bath. From Old High German, bane, which means to warm. Now we have the second form of bath. It is a transitive verb from the 15th century. It is also British. So it's just a verb. We're going to start with the transitive verb definition. To give a bath to. And the intransitive definition is also British, and it means to take a bath. Now we have the third form of bath. It is a noun from the 14th century, an ancient Hebrew liquid measure corresponding to the ephah of dry measure. This is a Hebrew word. I don't know what ephah is, or if I even said it correctly. It is spelled E-P-H-A-H. I assume that is also a Hebrew word. Now we have bath chair. It is 2 words. Noun from 1765. A hooded and sometimes glassed wheeled chair used especially by invalids. This feels like it should be updated. Okay. And then it says broadly we have the synonym wheelchair. Hooded. Why is it hooded? And glassed in? I don't know. Anyway, this is from the town Bath in England. Now we have the word bathe, B-A-T-H-E. It is the first form verb from before the 12th century. Transitive definitions are first. Number 1, synonyms are moisten and wet. Some of you probably did not like that. Number 2, to wash in a liquid as water. Number 3, to apply water or a liquid medicament to. To apply water or a liquid medicament to. It's kind of like the word predicament. I think I pronounced it correctly. Medicament? I think so. M-E-D-I-C-A-M-E-N-T. Number 4, to flow along the edge of. Synonym is lave, L-A-V-E. Number 5, to suffuse with or as if with light. Now we have, like if you bathe something in light, you've heard that before. Now we have the intransitive definitions. 1, to take a bath. Number 2, to go swimming. Number 3, to become immersed or absorbed. And bather is a noun. Now, the second form of bathe, it is a noun from 1747. Number 1 is British, and we have the number 1 definition for the first form of the word bath, which is basically the first thing we read at the beginning of this episode. Number 2 is also British. We have the synonyms swim and dip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. Now we have pathetic. It's like pathetic, but with a B. It is an adjective from 1845, characterized by bathos. Pathetically is an adverb. So this is interesting. It says, well, maybe it's not that interesting. It is from the word bathos, which we'll get to later, plus the suffix etic, and then it says, as in the word pathetic. It doesn't say what the suffix etic means, but that's also, it starts with an E, so we're not going to get to that for a while. Now we have bathhouse, one word, noun from 1705. 1, a building equipped for bathing. Number 2, a building containing dressing rooms for bathers. Next is bathing beauty, 2 words, noun from 1916. A woman in a bathing suit who is a contestant in a beauty contest. That beauty contests are still a thing that's happening. Now we have bathing suit, 2 words, noun from 1852. And we just have the synonym swimsuit. Next word is bath mat, 2 words. Ooh, we actually need to get a new bath mat. Ours is not very good, and I think it's a little old. This is a noun from 1867. A usually washable mat used in a bathroom. Now we have batholith. I sound like I have a lisp. Batholith. Batholith. It sounds like I'm trying to say the word bath. Now I don't even know how to say it. Basilisk. What is that? The lizard thing? Basilisk with a lisp. So batholith. Anyway, noun from 1884. A great mass of intruded igneous rock that, for the most part, stopped in its rise a considerable distance below the surface. Batholithic. I just find it funny. That is an adjective. When I think about the fact that it sounds like somebody with a lisp, it just makes me crack up. Yep, that's good. Now we have the word bathos. So batholith is actually from the prefix bathos, which means depth, which, like I said, we're about to get to. And then what was that word before? Bathetic. Also, the base word is bathos. So here's bathos. It is a noun from 1727. 1a. The sudden appearance of the commonplace in otherwise elevated matter or style. 1b. Synonym is anticlimax. So the opposite of climax. That's an interesting concept. But yeah, it's probably just deep down. I don't know what I'm saying. Number 2, exceptional commonplaceness. Commonplaceness, by the way, is all one word. And a synonym is triteness. Number 3, insincere or overdone pathos. Synonym is sentimentalism. And then this word is Greek, and it literally means depth. D-E-P-T-H. Now we have bathrobe. It is a noun from 1834. A loose, often absorbent robe worn before and after bathing or as a dressing gown. How many people actually wear a bathrobe? I think the brain is not working. There's so many thoughts and the mouth can't work fast enough. I should put an Instagram or Twitter poll. Do you wear a bathrobe? Yes or no? I think I had that thought before for something else, and I think I totally forgot to put up the poll. Anyway, do you wear a bathrobe? Yes or no? I used to after I took a shower, but then I was like, why am I wearing this bathrobe? I don't know. All right. Next and last word for this episode is bathroom. It is a noun from 1781. A room containing a bathtub or shower and usually a sink and toilet. Number 2, we have the 2 definition for the word lavatory, or some people say lavatory. Some people say bathroom. Some people say restroom. Some people say the loo. They say that a lot in Europe. What do you say? What word do you like to use? I like to say bathroom, even though it doesn't really make much sense, but restroom doesn't make a lot of sense either. What was the best word in my mind? Well, I have to pick, where did it go? Batholith as the word of the episode, just because I like the way it sounds. That is all the words. I thought about something earlier today that I could mention to you. Maybe I'll do this periodically. I'm just going to maybe every once in a while just mention a podcast that I'm listening to or a show that I'm watching, which I had mentioned before, but I don't have any new stuff to say. But I will tell you, let's find a good podcast that I should probably do this in order, otherwise I'll get super confused. Let's see. Well, let's start out with something that is highly, highly specific. It is called The Checkout. This is from the Evanston Public Library in Illinois, near Chicago. So if you are not in Evanston, you might not find it as interesting, but you might actually find it very interesting because what they do, it's not about the library or books. What this podcast does is they just interview interesting people in Evanston who are doing interesting stuff. And they've only had 5 episodes so far, but I think at least 3, I haven't listened to the 5th one yet, but I think at least 3 of the first 4 have been people who are doing a lot of work with social justice. And so, if you're somebody from another town and you want to get some ideas of maybe something that we're doing, check it out. Check out The Checkout. It's been really interesting, and it's been cool to hear about some things that are happening in my town that I was not aware of. I'm going to keep on listening, and I hope you keep on listening to that, and you also keep on listening to mine, and I'm just going to keep on giving you more content to listen to because I'm sure you don't have enough. Anyway, that is it for this episode. Thank you very much for listening, and this has been Spencer dispensing information to you, and I hope you appreciate it. Thank you, and goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of the Dictionary Podcast, the only podcast where somebody is stupid enough to read the entire dictionary. But you people, you're not stupid. You're the smart ones who have tuned in. I don't know what that means exactly, but I said it. So I'll give you more information when we get to this point, but I found something very weird. I think I found a glaring mistake in this book, in this last column, or the last section of this column on page 103. It's the last part of this page. Wow, I could have said that way more simply. Okay, the first word for this episode is bath salts. B-A-T-H. Second word, S-A-L-T-S. It is a noun from 1899. 1. A usually colored crystalline compound for perfuming and softening bathwater. Number 2. Any of various synthetic illicit drugs with stimulant and sometimes hallucinogenic properties that are used, typically in the form of a white or brown crystalline powder. And then there was a part in parentheses that I skipped. It said sometimes hallucinogenic properties that are used as by being injected or snorted. So that's a way that somebody could use those drugs, but from what I've heard, I would suggest not using these. I have never tried bath salts, and I never will. I wouldn't even know what they were if I saw them. And it sounds like it's something that probably should not be ingested. Now we have bathtub. It is a noun from 1821, a usually fixed tub for bathing. Now we have bathtub gin. Bathtub is one word, gin is another word. It's a noun from 1923, a homemade spirit concocted from raw alcohol, water, essences, and essential oils. Next we have bathwater. One word, noun from the 14th century, water for a bath. Now we have the prefix bathy, B-A-T-H-Y. It is, it's a prefix, like I said. Number 1, it doesn't give me a year. Number 1, deep or depth, as in bathyal, which is our next word, but we'll get there in a minute. Number 2 is deep sea, as in bathysphere. And we'll be getting to that later in this episode too. So this is just a Greek word from, or the word bathos, which means deep. So next, like I said, bathyal is our next word. It is an adjective from 1907 of or relating to the ocean depths or floor, usually from 600 to 6,000 feet, which is the equivalent of 180 to 1,800 meters. That's pretty far. Now we have bathymetry. Bathymetry. It is a noun from circa 1855. The measurement of water depth at various places in a body of water. Also, the information derived from such measurements. Bathymetric is, bathymetric or bathymetrical are adjectives, and bathymetrically is an adverb. Next is I tried to say this word before, and I'm still having trouble. Bathypelagic. 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 It is an adjective from 1891 of relating to or living in the ocean depths, especially between approximately 2,000 and 12,000 feet, which is the equivalent of 600 and 3,600 meters. Bathypelagic. I love that word. Now we have bathyscaphe or bathyscaphe. Bathyschaphe. So anytime you see that prefix bathy, it is most likely talking about something deep down in the water. All right, bathyscaphe or bathyscaphe is a noun from 1947, a navigable submersible for deep-sea exploration having a spherical, watertight cabin attached to its underside. So this is from the prefix bathy plus the Greek word scaphe or scaphe or scaphe or scaphe, which means light boat. Now we have bathysphere. It is a noun from 1930, a strongly built steel diving sphere for deep-sea observation. So is the bathysphere attached to the bathyscaphe? Now we have bathythermograph. Multiple th sounds. It is a noun from 1938, an instrument designed to record water temperature as a function of depth. Next we have batik or batik, Batik. It is a noun from 1831, a fabric printed by an Indonesian method of hand printing textiles by coating with wax the parts not to be dyed. Also, the method itself. Number 2, a design executed in batik. I've heard of this from art class or people talking about art. This word is from, I think it's a Java word. I'm just double checking. Yeah, Javanese. That would be the proper word for that. It is a Javanese word, batik. Looks like there might be a dot under the T of some kind. It's hard to tell. All right, next we have baiting. So this is where the mistake has come in. There's the word baiting, and then there's 2 more words, and then there's baiting again. So I don't know if they just misspelled that second baiting and it was supposed to be something else, or if they just screwed up the order. But yeah, baiting is in here twice. They don't even say first form, second form, and they're not next to each other. Very strange. Okay, the first one of baiting, B-A-T-I-N-G, is a preposition. Well, this is getting even more interesting. We'll get to that in a minute. It is a preposition from 1568. It is archaic, and it means with the exception of. And the reason it got more interesting is because the second definition of baiting is exactly the same pronunciation, preposition 1568, archaic, with the exception of. So somebody screwed up. All right, now we have the word batiste. It is a noun from 1697, a fine, soft, sheer fabric of plain weave made of various fibers. Next is Batman. Batman. Sorry. It is a noun from 1755, an orderly of a British military officer. This is French, bat, B-A-T, with a little hat over the A, and that means pack saddle, and I am super confused. Why is it an orderly of a British military officer? Why do they call it a Batman? I don't know. What's a pack saddle? How does that relate to this British military officer? Why doesn't it have to do with bats and a man with a belt of fancy toys and stuff? I don't know. It's a Batman. All right, we are skipping the second baiting because we already talked about that. Now we have bat mitzvah, first form. First word is bat, not bat, it's bat. Second word is mitzvah. Could also be bas mitzvah, which we talked about before. It is a noun from 1910. 1. A Jewish girl who at 12 or more years of age assumes religious responsibilities. Number 2. The initiatory ceremony recognizing a girl as a bat mitzvah. This is often capitalized as B and M, which I think we had the same information for the male version of that, which was bar mitzvah. So this is a Hebrew word, bath mizwah. It's just spelled different, which literally means daughter of the divine law, or just daughter of the law, and then divine is in parentheses. Now we have the second form of bat mitzvah. It is a verb, a transitive verb from 1976. Why so late? To administer the ceremony of bat mitzvah to. Now we have the word baton, B-A-T-O-N. It is a noun from 1520. Number 1, we have the synonyms cudgel and truncheon. Two words that sound like they're made up, but they're not, but they should be. Well, I guess all words are made up. And then specifically, the synonym billy club. Number 2, a staff borne as a symbol of office. And borne is the version that has an E at the end. Number 3, a narrow heraldic bend. Number 4, a slender rod with which a leader directs a band or orchestra. I actually conducted a small orchestra for a short amount of time. I don't know, 15 people maybe, and I actually got a baton. I must have it somewhere. Number 5, a hollow cylinder carried by each member of a relay team and passed to the succeeding runner. Number 6, a hollow metal rod with a weighted bulb at one or both ends that is flourished by a drum major or drum majorette. And this is French, bâton, from Old French, baston, ultimately from Latin bastum, which means stick. Next and last word for this episode is bat out. 2 words, spelled the normal way. Transitive verb from 1941, to compose, especially in a casual, careless, or hurried manner, as in, batted out a first draft of the memo. There were a lot of fun words in this one. There was one that sort of jumped out at me, I think. Let me just do a quick little scan. Yeah, definitely a lot of good ones. But I think I'm going to pick bathypelagic as the word of the episode because, A, I like saying that word, but also there are creatures that are bathypelagic, and they live very deep in the water, and I think that's pretty amazing and interesting. So that is all the words. If I wanted to tell you about another podcast that I'm listening to, I would tell you about Curiosity Daily. I think they've actually won at least one award for best podcast or daily podcast or something. Yeah, they have episodes every day, just like this podcast. Very similar. Theirs is better. I will tell you that. Lots more better information. But yeah, we're doing real good work, both of us. Yeah, go check them out. Each episode is super short, 10 minutes or less usually, and they talk about 3 or 4 topics, usually pretty science related, and it's super fascinating. I've learned a lot from listening to them. I've got 2 years to catch up on, almost a year and a half maybe. All right, that's it. I'm going to end this episode. Thank you for listening. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Thank you and goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of the Dictionary. Thank you for joining me. I hope you are all doing well. I hope you are all washing your hands and not touching people and not spitting in people's faces and not doing those silly, silly things. What's funny to me about this whole coronavirus thing, and, by the time this episode airs on 3/22, who knows? The whole world could have ended, or it could all have blown over. I'm recording this on Pi Day, 3/14. Yeah, it's just very weird. But yeah, the funny thing to me is just that the way people are acting now about not shaking hands and washing their hands more, etc., that's how people should kind of be all the time if you don't want to spread germs and get sick. So I hope that some of you are actually going to keep that in mind going forward. I was like that before, and I am absolutely not going to change. The first word for this episode is a weird word to me. I have never heard of this. It is batrachian. Batrachian. It is a noun from circa 1828. And we just have the number one definition for the word amphibian. So batrachian is an amphibian, especially the synonyms frog and toad. Do you ever go on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride at Disneyland, Disney World? It's pretty lame. Batrachian is also an adjective. This is ultimately from the Greek batrakos, which means frog. I wonder what context people use this word batrachian. I don't know, but you can tell me if you want. All right, now we have bat ray. It is two words, noun from circa 1933. A stingray of coastal waters from Oregon to the Gulf of California, having two long pectoral fins and a large protruding head. The scientific name for this stingray is Myleobatis californica. I just walked in from the cold, and I walked over here, and my mouth feels like it's a little frozen or something. It's not. I haven't warmed it up, so my lips aren't quite doing what they're supposed to be doing. I should have done my warm ups. Next, we have bats, B-A-T-S, adjective from 1919. And we just have the number two definition for the word batty, which is, like kind of crazy. Okay, next is batsman, noun from 1756, a batter, especially in cricket. Cricket, I know, is similar to baseball, but pretty different. I don't know the rules. It looks very exciting, though. I've seen some video of it, but I have no idea what the rules are. Now we have bat with two T's, noun from 1836. We have the number two definition for the word batting. Also, an often square piece of batting, which we'll get to later. All right, now we have battalis. I think that's how it's pronounced. Battalis. Battailous. It is an adjective from the 14th century. It is archaic, and it means ready for battle. Synonym is warlike. Battalis. It almost sounds like a word that a kid would make up. This is an adjective from Middle English, Anglo-French, basically means battle. Now we have battalia, B-A-T-T-A-L-I-A. It is a noun from 1569. One is archaic, order of battle. Number two is obsolete, a large body of men in battle array. Battaglia. And this is from the Italian word battaglia, with there's a G thrown in there in the middle. Now we have battalion. It is a noun from 1579. One, a considerable body of troops organized to act together. Synonym is army. Number two, a military unit composed of a headquarters and two or more companies, batteries, or similar units. Number three, a large group. I'm trying to speak a little bit slower. I feel like, I was listening to an episode this morning, the one that came out on 3/14, and I already listen to my episodes at 1.5 speed, just all my podcasts, but I felt like this one was particularly fast. So I think I just get really excited about these words, and I just want to talk about them so fast. So I'm trying to talk a little bit slower, and I hope that helps you. So this battalion is from Middle French bataillon, from Old English battaglione, which is an augmented form of battaglia, the Italian one, which means company of soldiers or battle, from the Latin battaglia, which means combat, and there's more at the word battle. All right, now we have bateau, B-A-T-T-E-A-U, and it is a variation of the word bateau with one T, which we must have read before. Now we have batman. Yeah, I think that's how it's pronounced. Batman, or battement. It's French. B-A-T-T-E-M-E-N-T. It is a French word, and I don't know where to go from this. It is a noun from 1802. A ballet movement in which the foot is extended in any direction, usually followed by a beat against the supporting foot. Battement. So this is French from battre, B-A-T-T-R-E, which means to beat, and that is from Latin battuere. Now we have batten, B-A-T-T-E-N. It is the first form of 3. It is a verb from circa 1540. We are going to start with the intransitive definitions. 1a, to grow fat. 1b, to feed gluttonously. Number 2, to grow prosperous, especially at the expense of another, usually used with the word on, like on batten or batten on. Doesn't say. Now we have the transitive definition, and it's just the synonym fatten. Sometimes I just really, really want to eat terrible and be lazy and just get fat, but I would probably die in like a year. Let's see. This is probably from the Old Norse batna, which means to improve, akin to the Old English betera, and that means better. All right. Now we have the second form of batten. It is a noun from 1658. 1a is British, a piece of lumber used especially for flooring. 1b, a thin, narrow strip of lumber used especially to seal or reinforce a joint. Number 2, a strip, bar, or support resembling or used similarly to a batten. And then in parentheses it says, as in a sail. This is from a sail as in S-A-I-L, the thing, the boat, the thing that makes you go, what the wind goes through it and your boat goes. This is an alternative from the Middle English battent or battant, which means finished board, from Anglo-French battant, from, I guess, the verb battre, which means to beat, from Latin battuere. And then we have the third form of batten. It is a verb from 1663. First is transitive. 1, to furnish with battens. Number 2, to fasten with or as if with battens. And that is often used with the word down, batten down, like batten down the hatches. Oh, that's coming up. The intransitive definition says to make one secure by or as if by battens, as in battening down for the hurricane. And there's the phrase batten down the hatches, and that means to prepare for a difficult or dangerous situation. And next is batter, B-A-T-T-E-R. It is the first form. It is a verb from the 14th century. Transitive definitions are first. 1a, to beat with successive blows so as to bruise, shatter, or demolish. Batter. 1b, synonym is bombard. Number 2, to subject to strong, overwhelming, or repeated attack, as in battered by forces of change. Number 3, to wear or damage by hard usage or blows, as in a battered old hat. Now we have the intransitive definition: to strike heavily and repeatedly. Synonym is beat. And then at the end, we have another synonym is the word maim, M-A-I-M. Batterer is a noun. That is the one who is doing the batting or battering. So this is from Middle English, batteren, probably frequent. What is why F-R-E-Q? That's an abbreviation. But that could be a few different things, right? Again, I have not put a marker in this abbreviation thing page, and why haven't I done that? You're so stupid. Frequentative. Frequentative. Okay. I don't know what these words mean. Let's see. So this is, so from Middle English, batteren, probably a frequentative of the word batten, which means to bat, and that is from the word bat. Now the second form of batter, it is a noun from the 14th century. 1a, a mixture consisting chiefly of flour, egg, and milk or water, and being thin enough to pour or drop from a spoon. 1b, a mixture, as of flour and egg, used as a coating for food that is to be fried. Oh, those are fun. I once had a dinner with some people. They were the ones doing all the cooking and the planning, and it was fried food night. So everything was fried, and boy, did I not feel good after that. That was a long, long time ago. Number 2, an instance of battering. Now we have the third form of batter. It is a transitive verb from 1973, to coat, with batter for frying. And then in parentheses, it had the word food. So to coat, food, for batter for frying. Because what other things would you coat with batter to fry? I mean, I guess technically people have probably fried non-edible things, but pretty much it's food. Have you ever had deep-fried Oreos or deep-fried Snickers? Ooh, I haven't had one of those in a long time. I think I only had an Oreo, and I might have had a Snickers once. I don't even know if I ever had a deep-fried Snickers, but I had a deep-fried Oreo, and that was amazing. I would not recommend it, though. Now we have the fourth form of batter. It is a noun from 1743, a receding upward slope of the outer face of a structure. The origin is unknown. Fifth form of batter, transitive verb from circa 1882, to give a receding upward slope to, and then in parentheses, as a wall. And now we have, finally, the sixth form of batter. This is the last word for the episode, noun from 1773, one that bats, especially the player whose turn it is to bat. What is the word of the episode? Do you have an opinion? Too bad, I can't hear you. We are going to pick the very first word, batrachian, which means basically amphibian, or more specifically, frog or toad. That is the word of the episode. I can say some things. I finished BoJack Horseman last night. That was great. I really, really loved that show, and I really thought the last 2 or 3 episodes were awesome. So this morning I posted a picture of a basilisk, when a medieval fantastical creature that looks like a dragon and a crow hybrid, and maybe a snake. Yeah, weird. And somebody commented, your name is MCTRMT. I hope you're okay with me putting that out there. But people can go to the Instagram and find you anyway. But you commented and said, I can't wait till you get to the word Boromets. It's my favorite animal. I don't know what a Boromets is. Why have I never heard of a Boromets? I also had never heard of Basenji, and that's a real dog. Maybe Boromets is fantastical too, but I'm excited to get to Boromets. I guessed maybe we'd get there in like 6 months. I have no idea. Anything else going on in the world? I don't know. If I think of something, I'll say it in the next episode, because I'm here recording 4, and then when I'm done with that, I'm going to try to record a voiceover demo reel. Let's see if that happens. All right, that has been everything. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Thank you and goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to this brand spanking new episode of this podcast called The Dictionary. I appreciate you joining me. I hope more of you are joining me. I forgot to mention yesterday, March 22nd, is a Muslim holiday, actually two holidays, Isra and Miraj. I don't know what they are, surprise, surprise, but, go learn about those. Maybe if I remember, or if I'm actually listening to myself when I'm editing this, and by editing, I mean just listening through it, I will remember to look up some stuff and maybe put a link in there for you to peruse at your leisure. I think it's good for all of us to learn more about stuff in the world that we don't know about, especially other cultures and religions, and it will make us just respect all of them even more. The first word for this episode is, it's real fun. You've probably already seen it in the episode title. It's Battered Child Syndrome. Yay, we're starting on a high note. That is three words. I'm not going to spell it. It is a noun from 1962. The complex of physical injuries sustained by a grossly abused child. Well, this sucks. I should mention there is a new, a docu-series called, I think it's called The Trials of Gabriel Hernandez. Do I have that title right? Anyway, I haven't watched it. My wife started to watch it last night while I was watching BoJack. And you can tell where our priorities are. She was telling me about it, and it sounds like an absolutely horrible, horrible story, but probably one that everybody should watch so they can be aware that this stuff is actually happening. This kid was basically just abused for months or years on end, and I think he died when he was like 8 years old. Why does this happen? Sorry to bring the mood down, but geez, why is this happening? Who would do something like that? Why? There are people out there who actually exist who do stuff like this? This just boggles my mind. I'm not, I guess, terribly surprised because stuff like this has been happening for years and decades and hundreds and thousands of years, but I just don't understand how this can happen. Well, on a similar note, now we have battered woman syndrome. This is a noun from 1984. Why this phrase was coined 22 years after the other one is weird to me. The highly variable symptom complex of physical and psychological injuries exhibited by a woman repeatedly abused, especially physically, by her mate, called also battered woman syndrome, battered wife syndrome, battered women's syndrome. Can you tell me why they use the word syndrome in these cases? The word must be a bit more vague than I am aware of. Doesn't seem like the right word, but maybe scientifically, technically, it's accurate. I don't know. Seems a little bit weird to me. Again, why do people feel the need to beat physically or mentally other people? It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know how to transition out of this, so we're just going to do it anyway. Next word is battery. The emphasis is on the last syllable, Batterie. Not with a Y. This is with an IE. It is a noun from 1712, a ballet movement consisting of beating together the feet or calves at the legs during a leap. Oh, is that the one where they jump up and their feet crisscross multiple times? That's called a batterie, something. This is French. Literally means beating, and there's more at the word battery with a Y. So that's the second ballet term we've had in 2 episodes. Now we have battering ram, 2 words, noun from 1593. 1, a military siege engine. Maybe they should have put a hyphen there. I don't know. A military siege engine consisting of a large wooden beam with a head of iron used in ancient times to beat down the walls of a besieged place. I was about to say palace. It's a place. Number 2, a heavy metal bar. I mean, you end it there and you have a whole different meaning. A heavy metal bar with handles used, as by firefighters, to batter down doors and walls. Battering ram. There is a very cool battering ram in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I think it's in the third movie, The Return of the King. It has a name, and I knew the name, and I can't think of it. It's a wolf. Someday I'll think of it. But it does have a name, and it's in the recesses of my brain somewhere. All right, now we have the word battery. This is the one with the Y. It is a noun from 1531. 1A, the act of battering or beating. 1B, an offensive touching or use of force on a person without the person's consent. Compared to the 2A definition for the word assault. Now, number 2 has a slightly different etymology. I don't know if we even need to read it. Number 2A, a grouping of artillery pieces for tactical purposes. 2B, the guns of a warship. Number 3, an artillery unit in the Army equivalent to a company. 4A, a combination of apparatus for producing a single electrical effect. 4B, a group of 2 or more cells connected together to furnish electric current. Also, a single cell that furnishes electric current, as in a flashlight battery. 4C is plural. Level of energy or enthusiasm. Batteries, as in needs a vacation to recharge her batteries. 5A, a number of similar articles, items, or devices arranged, connected, or used together. And then we have the synonyms set and series, as in a battery of tests. 5B, a usually impressive or imposing group. Synonym is array. Number 6, the position of readiness of a gun for firing. And number 7, the pitcher and catcher of a baseball team. They call those the battery? I don't really follow baseball too closely, so I didn't know that. Okay, well, now if I hear that, I'll know what they're talking about. Now we have batting, B-A-T-T-I-N-G. It is a noun from 1773. Ooh, that rhymed. That was awesome. 1A, the action of one who bats. 1B, the use of or ability with a bat. Number 2, layers or sheets of raw cotton or wool or of synthetic fibrous materials used for lining quilts or for stuffing or packaging. Also, a blanket of thermal insulation as fiberglass. Next is batting average, 2 words, noun from 1867. 1, a ratio as a rate per thousand of base hits to official times at bat for a baseball player. Number 2, a record of achievement or accomplishment. Any specific reason why the ratio for the batting average is a rate per 1,000? Do they go to the base that often? Why isn't it just a percentage? Why is it point 325 or whatever? Is there any real good reason why they do that? I mean, if you're batting a 0.325, what did I say? 0.325 batting average, isn't that 32.5% of the time you get a hit? Why don't they just say 32.5%? Does that take up too much time? Did I take up too much time talking about that? Probably. Should we move on to the next word? Okay, let's do that. Next is batting cage. I may have never been in a batting cage. I seriously don't know if I've ever hit a ball in a batting cage. Maybe I should go do that. I know where one is not too far. This is a noun from 1952. A screen placed around the back and sides of the home plate area to stop baseballs during batting practice. Well, that's not the batting cage I was thinking of, but yeah, that makes sense too. Now we have the word battle. First form, noun from the 13th century. Number 1 is archaic, and we have the word battalion as a synonym. Number 2, a combat between 2 persons. Number 3, a general encounter between armies, ships of war, or aircraft. Number 4, an extended contest, struggle, or controversy, as in a battle of wits. I would lose that battle of wits, but that reminds me of the battle of wits in Princess Bride, when the man in black and what's his name, Fassini, he's Italian. He's specifically Sicilian. Never get into a... Oh, crap, I'm going to screw it up. What does it say? Never get into a thing with a Sicilian when death is on the line. That hurts my throat. Let's see. This is from Middle English, battle. From French, Anglo-French, bataille, which means battle. Battalion. From the Latin battalia, which means combat. Alternative of battualia, which means fencing exercises. I never took fencing lessons. I would know that if I did. From Latin battuere, which means to beat. Now we have the second form of battle. This is a verb from the 14th century. Intransitive is next. Yeah, that hurt my throat. See, I need to do more vocal exercises. If I'm going to do something like that, I need to warm up. And I didn't. Number 1, to engage in battle. Synonym is fight. Number 2, to contend with full strength, vigor, skill, or resources. Synonym is struggle. Now we have the transitive definitions. 1, to fight or struggle against. Number 2, to force as one's way by battling. Battler is a noun, and that is good for that. Now we have the third form of battle. This is a verb, specifically transitive verb from the 14th century. It is archaic, and it means to fortify with battlements. The etymology is fine. Next, we have battle axe. Let's see. There is a hyphen between the two words, and axe could be spelled AX or AXE. It is a noun from the 14th century. 1, a broad axe formerly used as a weapon of war. Number 2, a usually older woman who is sharp-tongued, domineering. I'm yawning a little bit. This definition is making me super tired. Let's do number 2 again. A usually older woman who is sharp-tongued, domineering, or combative. A battle axe. Next is battle cruiser. 2 words. Noun from 1911. A large, heavily armed warship that is lighter, faster, and more maneuverable than a battleship. Last word for this episode is battle cry. B-A-T-T-L-E. Next word, C-R-Y. Noun from 1814. And the synonym is war cry. Well, I'm going to pick both battered child syndrome and battered woman syndrome as the words of the episode because this stuff happens. People need to be aware that this is happening. People need to do what they can to stop this from happening. I want to thank all of you people who work in shelters or any sort of place that is helping, actually actively helping people who are going through this or who have been through this. This shouldn't be happening. I don't understand what makes a person, this is the stuff I think about, what makes a person think that this is okay to do? Why were they raised that way? How were they raised? When you do that, you are just keeping that pattern going. This is terrible. Let's not do this. Okay? Thanks. Yeah, that was all the words. I don't know. I feel like I don't want to say anything after that because that's that. This has been Spencer dispensing information into your brains. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, goodbye. Hello, word nerds. You're great. Thank you. Let's go. First is battle dress uniform. 3 words. Noun from 1982. A military uniform for field service. Next is battle fatigue. 2 words. Noun from 1944. Synonym is combat fatigue. And battle fatigued with an ed and a hyphen is an adjective. Next is battlefield. 1 word. Noun from 1769. 1. A place where a battle is fought. Number 2. An area of conflict. Next is battle front. All 1 word. Noun from 1824. The military sector in which actual combat takes place. Next is battleground. One word, noun from 1573. Synonym is battlefield. Next is battle line. Two words, noun from 1814. One, a line along which a battle is fought. Number two, a line defining the positions of opposing groups in a conflict or controversy, usually used in plural, as in, battle lines were drawn over economic policies. Now we have battlement. It is a noun from the 14th century. I think somebody should make a mint called a battlement, and it would be in the shape of maybe a castle or a what's that thing called? Oh, Jesus Christ. A tank. I don't know. Horses and soldiers. Anyway, a parapet with open spaces that surmounts a wall and is used for defense or decoration. Battlemented is an adjective. This is from Middle English battlement, from Anglo-French bâtiment, from batailler, batailler, which means to fortify with battlements. And there's more at the word battle. So we have a picture. We have a picture of a battlement. So this is, I mean, you've seen this. You know what they are. It's like a tower. And then the tower, in this picture at least, has this sort of cutout parts. This goes up and goes down, goes up and goes down. And then below that are like windows, vertical windows, basically. So we have three words here. Number one is called the crenellations. Crenellations. It goes over to the second line. Crenellations. Crenellations. That is the part. So remember when I said at the top, part goes up, and then it goes down, and then up, and then down. It goes around like that. So the part that goes down, that is the crenellation. The part that goes up is number two, and that's the merlons, or merlons, Merlons. I wonder if the name Merlin, the wizard's name Merlin, is related to this at all. Probably not. Merlons. And then number three is the windows, and that is called the machicolations. Is that how you say it? Machicolations? I don't know. Oh, great. My nose is getting a little runny. Okay. Next is battle royal. I would want to say battle royale, but there's no E at the end. So it's just maybe battle royal. No, this is a noun from 1671. 1A. A fight participated in by more than two combatants. Did I read that right? A fight participated in by more than two combatants, especially one in which the last man in the ring or on his feet is declared the winner. What is that movie, the series of books and then movies? The Hunger Games, that's a battle royale. That was, I think there was a Japanese or Korean movie called, was it just called Battle Royale? I think it might have been. That was fun. Let's see. Now we have 1B, a violent struggle. And then number 2, a heated dispute. Now we have battleship. It is a noun from 1794. It should just say, a game played by children, but it's not. A warship of the largest and most heavily armed and armored class. It is short for line of battle ship. I didn't know that. Line of battle is hyphenated, and then ship is tagged on there at the end. Line of battleship. They said, that's too long. We can't say line of battleship every time. We're just going to say battleship. I think it's better. Now we have battle wagon. One word, noun from 1918, and that's a synonym for battleship, or battleship is a synonym for battle wagon, whichever way you want to say it. Now we have battue, or battue, or something similar. This is an adjective from 1947. It is of a ballet. Okay, third word in a third episode in a row that has a ballet term. Actually, it says of a ballet movement. The definition is performed with a striking together of the legs. Battue. And Now we have Batu or Batu again, but, I didn't tell you, the last one is spelled B-A-T-T-U. This one, it just has an E at the end. I'm assuming it's related. It is a noun from 1816. The beating of woods and bushes to flush game. Also, a hunt in which this procedure is used. Batu. It's so interesting that these two words that have nothing to do with each other, except from, etymologically, they're both from the French word battre, which means to beat. They have nothing to do with each other, yet they are still related. They're cousins. They're very, very distant cousins. All these words are just one giant family, just like we are, just like all humans are. All life, really. We're just distant cousins. So what is the first word? What was the first word that all this stemmed from? Was it a grunt? Probably. That's interesting. Not that we haven't thought about that before. All right, now we have batty. It is an adjective from 1590. 1, of relating to or resembling a bat. Number 2, mentally unstable. Synonym is crazy. And battiness is a noun. Now we have, I'm going to say bauble or babble. B-A-U-B-L-E. It is a noun from the 14th century. Number 1, we have the number 1 definition for the word trinket. Number 2, a fool's scepter. Number 3, something of trifling appeal. Now we have baucis. I think that's how it's pronounced, or baucis. Capital B-A-U-C-I-S. It is a noun from 1567. The wife of Philemon. Philemon is P-H-I-L-E-M-O-N. So Philemon and baucis are married. Next we have bod or bad, bod, bode. All of those are options, I think. B-A-U-D. It is a noun from 1931. A variable unit of data transmission speed as 1 bit per second. So this is, baud is telegraphic transmission speed unit, and that is from J.M.E. Baudot, or Baudot, B-A-U-D-O-T, who died in 1903, and he, I assume, but maybe she, was a French inventor. Okay, now we have Bauhaus. Capital H-A-U-S. It is an adjective from 1923 of relating to or influenced by a school of design noted especially for a program that synthesized technology, craftsmanship, and design aesthetics. I've heard of this, but I didn't really know what it was. This is German. The word Bauhaus literally means architecture house, which is a school founded by George Gropius. Now we have Bauhinia. Bauhinia. B-A-U-H-I-N-I-A. It looks like it's pronounced Bauhinia, but it is Bauhinia. Well, you could say Bauhinia, and you could say, well, I don't know how that letter is pronounced, but close enough. Okay, noun from 1725. Any of a genus of leguminous vines, shrubs, and trees of the legume family that grow in tropical and subtropical regions and include some that are grown especially for their fragrant orchid-like flowers. This is from Jean Bauhin, who died in 1613, and Gaspard Bauhin, who died in 1624. They were Swiss botanists, and I'm assuming that they were either brothers or sisters or married or something. Okay, now we have the last word of the episode. It is bulk, chiefly British variation of the word bulk. This one is spelled B-A-U-L-K. Let's see. I think, there was a few good options for the word of the episode. I want to say that I'm going to pick battlement as the word of the episode because I learned some new words, although I'll probably forget them right away. That is the tower in the castle with the crenellations, the merlins, and the machicolations, and that was great. I think that's it. That's a relatively short episode. Let's go with the time that we have saved. Let's go help somebody. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Thank you and goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of the Dictionary Podcast. This is the one that is the best one. It might be the only one. Yeah. Hey, go do the rating and the reviewing and send me messages on the Instagram and the email and Twitter and Facebook and leave me a voicemail and say hi. I hope that you're enjoying this. But yeah, go tell people. The first word for this episode is baume. I think that's how it's pronounced. Baume. Capital B-A-U-M-E. And there is an accent over the E. It's the one that starts low and then goes up towards the right. This is an adjective from 1877, being calibrated in accordance with or according to either of two arbitrary hydrometer scales for liquids lighter than water or for liquids heavier than water that indicate specific gravity in degrees. I don't know what I just read. This is from Antoine Baume. Now we have Baum Martin. B-A-U-M, next word M-A-R-T-E-N. It is a noun from circa 1879. The pelt or fur of the European martin. Scientific name Martis martis. This is a part trans. What is that short for? Translation. That was obvious, wasn't it? So this is part translation of the German word bombarder from Baum, which means tree, and marder, which means martin. Next is bauxite, B-A-U-X-I-T-E, noun from 1861, an impure mixture of earthy hydrous aluminum oxides and hydroxides that is the principal source of aluminum. Bauxitic is an adjective. This is French, bauxite. They probably don't say it that way, though. From Les Baux, which is near Arles, France. Arles is spelled A-R-L-E-S, but I think that's how it's pronounced. Now we have BAV, capital B-A-V, abbreviation for Bavaria or Bavarian. And Bavarian is our next word with a capital B, noun from 1634. 1. A native or inhabitant of Bavaria. Number 2, the High German dialect of southern Bavaria and Austria. Bavarian is also an adjective. Next we have, why am I yawning? Are you yawning now? Ooh, that would be great if all of you listening just started yawning, because yawns are contagious. Now we have Bavarian cream, noun from 1847, flavored custard of pureed fruit combined with gelatin and whipped cream. I didn't realize they had fruit. My wife is picking up some vegan donuts this morning. I am very excited, and at least one of them has cream in it, a Long John. I'm excited. I have not had vegan donuts for a long, long time. Next, we have Bawbee, B-A-W-B-E-E. It is a noun from, I wish the year rhymed with E, but it doesn't. 1542. 1. Any of various Scottish coins of small value. Number 2. An English halfpenny. I'll see if I can find a picture of these. This is probably from Alexander Orrock, O-R-R-O-K, who was Laird of Sillibobby, F-L. What is this saying? I wish I knew Scottish. Okay. Alexander Orrock, who was Laird, not Lord, Laird, L-A-I-R-D, of S-I-L-L-E hyphen, and then in italics, B-A-W-B-E, next word F-L, and it says 1538, Scottish master of the mint. So he was the one who controlled the money, I guess. I am so confused. Well, not for the main point, but some of these words I'm super confused on. Next we have Bawcock. bawcock, noun from 1599. It is archaic, and it just means a fine fellow. I think we should bring this back. Oh, fellow, you are so nice. You are a fine fellow. I'm going to call you a bawcock. This is from French beau-coq, B-E-A-U, next word, C-O-Q. That is from the word beau, which means fine, and cock, which means fellow or cock. Okay. Now we have bawd, B-A-W-D. It is a noun from the 14th century. Number 1 is obsolete, and we have the synonym pander. Number 2A, one who keeps a house of prostitution. Oh, that's going to be related to a word coming up. So a synonym on that one is madam. And then 2B is the synonym prostitute. Now we have bawdry, noun from the 15th century. 1 is obsolete. Synonym is unchastity. Number 2, suggestive, coarse, or obscene language. We are definitely in the section of adult stuff for a little bit. Adults, if you're listening with your kids, maybe I should have mentioned something before, but I don't know what's coming up. I just flying off the handles. I just do this free form. So yeah. Now we have the word bawdy, B-A-W-D-Y. It is the first form adjective from 1513. 1, synonyms are obscene and lewd, L-E-W-D. Number 2, boisterously or humorously indecent. Bodily is an adverb, and bawdiness is a noun. Now we have the second form of bawdy. It is a noun from 1656. And we have the number 2 definition for bawdry. Now we have bawdy house, 2 words, noun from 1552, and we just have the synonym bordello. I'll let you go look up what that is, but we'll get there eventually. Now we have the word bawl, B-A-W-L. It is the first form. It is a verb from 1533, starting with intransitive. Number 1, to cry out loudly and unrestrainedly. Number 2, to cry loudly. Synonym is wail. Now we have transitive. To cry out at the top of one's voice. I'm making stuff up in my head. Bawler is a noun and usually a child or baby. This is Middle English. It means to bark, probably of Germanic origin, akin to the Icelandic baula, B-A-U-L-A, which means to low. Like, it's a verb, to low. How do you low? L-O-W. Or low? I don't know. Now we have the second form of bawl. It is a noun from 1566, a loud, prolonged cry. Synonym is outcry. Now we have bawl out, 2 words, transitive verb from 1899, to reprimand loudly or severely. Now we have the word bay, B-A-Y. It is the first form. Some of them are going to be on the next episode. So this one is an adjective from the 14th century, and it means reddish-brown, as in a bay mare. I will try and remember that bay means reddish-brown. Let's see. This is interesting. It's Middle English from Anglo-French bay, B-A-I, from Latin badius, akin to the Old Irish bead, B-U-I-D-E. I'm sure that's not how it's pronounced, but that word means yellow. So somehow it went from yellow in Irish to reddish-brown? I don't know. Now we have the second form of bay. It is a noun from 1535. 1, a bay-colored animal, specifically a horse with a bay-colored body and black mane, tail, and points, compared to the word chestnut. Number 4, the 4 definition for the word chestnut. Also, the number 1 definition of the first form of the word sorrel, S-O-R-R-E-L. And then number 2, we just have a reddish-brown. Now we have the third form of bay. It is a noun from the 14th century. 1, a principal compartment of the walls, roof, or other part of a building or of the whole building. Number 2, a main division of a structure. Number 3, any of various compartments or sections used for a special purpose, as in an airplane, spacecraft, or service station. As in a bomb bay. I don't think that the town or the city in India, Bombay, is related at all to something like that because it's spelled differently, isn't it? I think it's just because this is bomb, like B-O-M-B, but that's just B-O-M-B-A-Y. Yeah, I think that's completely different. But it was kind of interesting. Also is in a cargo bay. Number 4, we have the number 1 definition for bay window. Number 5, a support or housing for electronic equipment. This is Middle English from Anglo-French, baie, B-A-E-E, which means opening, from, though that is a feminine of the word B-A-E, with an accent on the E, which is of the verb bare, which means to be wide open or gape, from vulgar Latin batare. Now we have the 4th form of bay. It is a verb from the 14th century. Intransitives are first. Number 1, to bark with prolonged tones, as in dogs baying at the moon. Number 2, to cry out. Synonym is shout. Transitive definitions are next. Number 1, to bark at. Number 2, to bring to bay. Number 3, to pursue with barking. And number 4, to utter in deep, prolonged tones. Lastly, we have the last word of this episode. It's the last one. It's the word bay again, B-A-Y, 5th form, noun from the 14th century. Ooh. That's my belly. I'm hungry. Number 1, a baying of dogs. Number 2, the position of one unable to retreat and forced to face danger, as in brought his quarry to bay. Number 3, the position of one checked, as in police kept the rioters at bay. Let's see. I am going to have to pick Bavarian cream as the word of the episode because I want some vegan version of that with a donut or something, and that would be great. Bawcock was also funny. That is it. Yeah, I hope you're having a good time, and I hope you're being good and staying healthy and washing your hands and all that good stuff. And I am now, I think, going to try and record a voiceover demo reel because I think that would be fun to get some work doing that. Thank you very much for listening. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Thank you and goodbye. Hello, word nerds. I hope your hands are super clean. Are you... that was going to be a stupid, weird joke. My hands are super, super dry from all the hand washing that I've been doing. I haven't had lotion handy, but it's worth it. I would rather have dry, cracked, bleeding hands than be sick and spread germs to everybody else. I hope that you feel the same way. So today is March 26th. I am recording this on March 17th. Happy Prince Jonah Kuhio Kalanianaole Day. Did I say that right? That is a state holiday in Hawaii. If any of you are in Hawaii, I hope you have a good Prince Jonah Kuhio Kalanianaole Day. And I hope I pronounced it close enough. Yeah, let's talk about some words. Oh boy, I am super tired. I've worked 3 days worth plus in 2 days. But you know what? I've worked a full day today. I am recording 4 episodes for you because I love you people. All of you listeners, even you non-listeners, I love you too. And you make it all worthwhile. The first word is bay, B-A-Y. It is the 6th form. What? 6 forms? It is a noun from the 14th century. 1, an inlet of the sea or other body of water, usually smaller than a gulf. Number 2, a small body of water set off from the main body. Number 3, any of various terrestrial formations resembling a bay of the sea. This is Middle English, bay, with an E at the end. From Anglo-French, bay, B-A-I. Perhaps from bayer, which means to be wide open. Now we have the seventh and final form of bay. It is a noun from the 15th century. 1a, we have the number one definition for the word laurel. 1b, any of several shrubs or trees, as the red bay or sweet bay, resembling the laurel, and compared to bay rum. That is two words, and we will read that actual definition later in this very episode. 2a, a garland or crown, especially of laurel, given as a prize for victory or excellence. Seems like kind of a lame prize, if you ask me, but maybe at the time it was a really good prize. 2b, we have the synonyms honor and fame, and it is usually used in plural. So this is Middle English, means berry or laurel berry, from Anglo-French, bay, B-A-I, from Latin, bacca. Now we have bayader. I think that's how it's pronounced, bayader or bayadere, B-A-Y-A-D-E-R-E. It is a noun from 1851, a fabric with horizontal stripes in strongly contrasted colors. This is French, bayadere, which is a professional female dancer in India. And so they must wear a fabric with horizontal stripes in strongly contrasted colors. Maybe we should find a picture of this fabric. Next, we have bayberry. It is one word, noun from 1575. 1, any of several wax myrtles, especially a hardy shrub of coastal eastern North America, bearing dense clusters of small berries covered with grayish-white wax. And the scientific name for this hardy shrub is Myrica pennsylvanica, or pennsylvanica. That looks suspiciously similar to the state Pennsylvania. I wonder what the reason is. And then number 2, the fruit of a bayberry. I want to turn my headphones up because I just can't get enough of hearing my own voice in my ears. Now we have Bayesian or Bayesian, capital B-A-Y-E-S-I-A-N. It is an adjective from 1950, being, relating to, or involving statistical methods that assign probabilities or distributions to events, as rain tomorrow, or parameters, as a population mean, based on experience or best guesses before experimentation and data collection, and that apply Bayes' theorem to revise the probabilities and distributions after obtaining experimental data. That was a long definition. Well, we mentioned Bayes' theorem. That is capital B-A-Y-E-S, and apostrophe after the S. And that is our next word or phrase. It is a noun from 1830, a theorem about conditional probabilities, the probability that an event A occurs given that another event B has already occurred is equal to the probability that the event B occurs given that A has already occurred, multiplied by the probability of occurrence of event A and divided by the probability of occurrence of event B. I think a lot of you just fell asleep. I can hear your snoring through my headphones in the future. Oh, you math nerds are awesome, but you probably got super excited when I read that one. I took statistics in high school, and that was more confusing than I thought it would be. Part of it wasn't too bad, but the rest of it was super confusing, so this is a little confusing to me. But if somebody were to give me a practical example, it would probably make sense. This is from Thomas Bayes, who died in 1761, and he was an English mathematician. Duh. All right, now we have bay leaf, two words, noun from the 15th century, the dried leaf of the European laurel used in cooking, and the scientific name is Laurus nobilis. Now we have bayman or bayman, one word, noun from 1641, a person and especially a fisherman who lives or works on or about a bay. Sitting on the dock of the bay. Now we have bayonet, It is the first form. It is a noun from 1680. A steel blade attached at the muzzle end of a shoulder arm as a rifle and used in hand-to-hand combat. And this is from the French word baïonnette, Baionette, from Bayonne, France. I guess that's a town, Bayonne, France. Now we have the second form of bayonet. This is a verb from 1778. The transitive definitions are first. Number 1, to stab with a bayonet. Number 2, to compel or drive by or as if by the bayonet. And then the intransitive verb definition says to use a bayonet. Now we have the word bayou or bio. That looks like it's appropriate as well. It is a noun from 1763. 1, a creek, secondary watercourse, or minor river that is tributary to another body of water. Now we have, the number 2 definition for bayou. How do they talk in the bayou? I am not even going to try. Any of various usually marshy or sluggish bodies of water. I think this is saying this is Louisiana French from the Choctaw word bayuk, B-A-Y-U-K. And let us go to our page that I still haven't marked. I'm pretty sure it's Louisiana. Yep, Louisiana French. Okay, next word is bay rum. 2 words, noun from 1816. A fragrant cosmetic and medicinal liquid distilled from the leaves of a West Indian bay tree of the myrtle family, or usually prepared from essential oils, alcohol, and water. And the scientific name is Pimenta racemosa. Now we have bay scallop. 2 words, noun from 1943. A scallop of U.S. coastal and estuarine. I said it twice the same way. We'll just go with that. U.S. coastal and estuarine waters of the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico that is harvested commercially for food. I don't know if I said that word right. The scientific name is Argopectin irradians. And now we have the last word for this episode. It is Bay Stater, capital B-A-Y. Next word, capital S-T-A-T-E-R. It is a noun from 1845, a native or resident of Massachusetts. It is used as a nickname. And I think that is because they have the Cape Cod. Well, I know Cape Cod, does it create a bay? What's the body of water in there? It's a cape. I don't know. So that's what they call people who live in Massachusetts. The word of the episode was the one that was the most probably boring and confusing to many of us. I'm going to do Bayesian as the word of the episode. Bayes with an I-A-N. And then Bayes' theorem, of course, is close, but it made a little bit more sense. That is it for the words. Thank you very much for listening. I completely forgot that I was starting to tell you guys, you people, you wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people, podcasts I listen to. Let's see, another one. This is somebody I know, actually. I've known this guy for a long, long time, and he has a podcast called Charlie Likes Music, and he likes music. He talks about music. He's got, currently he has 11 episodes, and he is an encyclopedia of knowledge of music, at least compared to me, and I think compared to most people. He knows a lot about a lot of different styles of artists and musicians and more things than I can even think of to tell you. And so he is very knowledgeable, and I highly suggest that you go listen to it if you want to learn more about music or you love music and you want to hear what somebody else has to say about it. Go check out Charlie Likes Music. And if I remember, I will put a link probably to Apple Podcasts, but you can find it anywhere. I will put a link in the description of this episode. That is going to be the end of this episode. Thank you so much for listening. right now, today, the day I'm recording this, we are in the middle, or maybe the beginning, of some weird quarantine situation where everybody is supposed to stay home, quarantine themselves, whether they're sick or not. And it's just a really, really weird time. People are buying everything from the stores, and I don't know. There's too much going on to even keep up with, and I don't even honestly pay attention as close as I should. But it's just a really strange time. So by the time you're listening to this, almost 10 days after I'm recording it, it could be a very different world. But for now, when I'm done here, I am going to go home and not be around people, because I've actually been around people a lot the last few days. Okay, that's it. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Thank you and goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of this most amazing podcast, the only one where somebody is reading the dictionary, and that somebody is me. There's going to be a lot of abbreviations in this episode and the next episode, and yeah. So let us get started with the funness. First word is bay window. B-A-Y. Second word, window. Noun from Where did I get a 7? The 15th century. Number 1, a window or series of windows forming a bay in a room and projecting outward from the wall. Number 2 is the number 1 definition for the word potbelly. Now we have the word bazaar. It is a noun from 1612. Number 1, a market, as in the Middle East, consisting of rows of shops or stalls selling miscellaneous goods. 2a, a place for the sale of goods. 2b, the synonym is department store. Number 3, a fair. A fair for the sale of articles, especially for charitable purposes. And this is from the Persian word bazaar with, B-A-Z-A-R. The word we're talking about is B-A-Z-A-A-R. I don't know why we added a second A. And then in the Persian word, there are horizontal lines over the A's. So what I find interesting is that, that's because it's spelled differently. Okay. Next, we have bazooka. It is a noun from 1943, a light, portable, anti-tank weapon consisting of an open-breech, smoothbore firing tube. That's a smoothbore firing tube that launches an armoring of an. No, I reread a line. That launches an armor-piercing rocket and is fired from the shoulder. The word bazooka is a crude musical instrument made of pipes and a funnel? What? I have to look more into this. A bazooka is a crude musical instrument made of pipes and a funnel? Well, how did it become the word for the anti-tank weapon? Let's look more into that one. Not that I'm into weapons and stuff necessarily, but it would be quite a rush to shoot off one of these bazookas from your shoulder. I think whenever I think of bazookas these days, I think of the scene in Batman 2, The Dark Knight, where the Joker has a little, I put that in air quotes, a little bazooka that he fires from a truck. Anyway, the next word is BB. It's just the letter B twice. They are both capitalized. It is the first form. Noun from 1832. 1, a shot pellet, 0.18 inch in diameter for use in a shotgun cartridge. Number 2, a shot pellet, 0.175 inch in diameter for use in an air gun. Oh, they're very close but very different. Now we have BB again, second form. It is an abbreviation for 1, Bachelor of Business. Number 2, ball bearing. Number 3, base on balls. Number 4, blue book. And number 5, I hope I pronounced this correctly, B'nai B'rith. I don't know, that might be Hebrew? I'm not sure. It is capital B apostrophe N-A-I and then capital B apostrophe R-I-T-H. Apologies for not knowing where that's from. Where that is from. Now we have BBA, all capitalized, abbreviation for Bachelor of Business Administration. Now we have B-ball, B-ball. It is a noun from 1967, and we just have the synonym basketball. B-baller is a noun, and in both cases, they often capitalize the first B. Now we have BBB, all caps, abbreviation for Better Business Bureau. Now we've got BBC, all caps, abbreviation for British Broadcasting Corporation. Now we have BBE, all caps, abbreviation for Bachelor of Business Education. I told you there were going to be a lot of abbreviations. Next we have BBL, all lowercase. This is an abbreviation for barrel or barrels. Now we have B-boy, capital B hyphen, and then the word boy. It is a noun from 1981, a male who engages in the pursuit of hip-hop culture or adopts its styles. I feel like the description is the complete opposite of what the culture is that the B-boy, that it's describing. It just, they're very, the juxtaposition of that is very interesting to me. Also, these days, I don't think it has to be a male. I have a feeling there are women who are called B-boys, or maybe they're called B-girls at this point. I don't know. But yeah, it's very genderized. Let's see. This says the B is probably from the word break, which is a solo instrumental passage, or break beat. And yeah, don't B-boys usually do break dancing? I'm sorry, I'm not a B-boy. I don't know. I'm just basing this off of the little bit that I've heard. There's a movie probably from around that year, Breakin', which is all about breakdancing, and at the time it was super cool. And then there was the sequel, which I don't think I saw, Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo, and that subtitle has become the running joke. If you ever make like a joke sequel to some movie, if you're talking about a joke sequel, people often like to add Electric Boogaloo just because it's a great subtitle. All right, next we have BBQ, all caps. It is an abbreviation for barbecue. Now we have the abbreviation BBS, all capitalized, Bulletin Board System. I really wish that we would see BB-8 in here, but I think the book is too old, and I don't think that they would add that in here anyway. Now we have BC, all caps, abbreviation for 1, before Christ, and then it says often printed in small capitals and often punctuated with periods. Number 2, abbreviation for British Columbia. Now we have BCC, all lowercase. It is the first form. It is a transitive verb from 1989. 1, to send a blind carbon copy to. And number 2, to send as a blind carbon copy. I find it kind of fascinating that there's a lot of people these days who, well, there's a couple of things. A lot of people who are not aware of CC and BCC when you send an email. They're not aware that that exists or what you can do with that or why it's there. And then a lot of, obviously, young people aren't aware of what those stand for, what those are. CC is carbon copy, and back in the day when somebody wanted to send a message and they wanted to send it to multiple people, they had to do a thing called a carbon copy where I don't even know all the details because I've never had to do it, but they would basically have multiple pieces of papers and a piece of carbon paper basically in the middle, and then when they typed it out or wrote it out, it would make another copy behind it, so they didn't have to write it out twice, and then they could send that copy to somebody else. So that's what that is. That's what that stands for. And then in email, for email, a BCC, a blind carbon copy, is it's going to send to somebody, but the original, the person who's it's being sent to isn't aware that it's being carbon copied to other people. You want to be kind of secretive. And then the second form of BCC is an abbreviation for blind carbon copy. Now we have BCD, all caps. It is the first form. Noun from circa 1962, a system of writing numbers in which each decimal digit is represented by its 4-digit binary equivalent, as in 51 in BCD is 0101 space 0001. And I could go into more detail about that, but I don't want to mess up what I think is right, and you don't want to hear it anyway. But BCD stands for binary coded decimal. Now we have the second form of BCD. It is an abbreviation for bad conduct discharge. Next is BCE, all caps, abbreviation for 1. Bachelor of Chemical Engineering. Number 2, Bachelor of Civil Engineering. Number 3, before the Christian era, and that is often punctuated before the Common Era. Oh, so it's two things that are similar. Before the Christian era, and it's often punctuated, and also before the Common Era, and that is also often punctuated. I prefer before the Common Era, but I don't know. The whole year thing, we're in the year like 13.7 billion, give or take. Now we have B cell. That's capital B, and then the second word is cell, C-E-L-L. It is a noun from 1962. Any of the lymphocytes that have antigen-binding antibody molecules on the surface that comprise the antibody-secreting plasma cells when mature, and that in mammals differentiate in the bone marrow, called also B lymphocyte. And then it says compared to T cell, not B cell, but T cell. Let's see, the B is probably from the word bursa, or actually it's bursa derived. There's a hyphen, and that is produced by the bursa of Fabricius. I don't know what that is. Probably something in the body. Something. Next, we have BCF, all lowercase, abbreviation for billion cubic feet. Next, we have BCG, vaccine. BCG is all caps. This is a noun from 1925. A vaccine prepared from a living attenuated strain of tubercle bacilli and used to vaccinate human beings against tuberculosis. Oh, there's a dog barking upstairs. This is called also just BCG. This is from Bacillus calmette-guerin, an attenuated strain of tubercle bacilli. So that's what the BCG is, and this is from Albert Calmette, who died in 1933, and Camille Guerin, who died in 1961, and they were French bacteriologists. So they got together and they found this attenuated strain of tubercle bacilli that they called Bacillus calmette-guerin, and then they shortened that to BCG, and then the vaccine is the thing to help with BCG. Make sense? Good. Let's move on to BCH. The B and the C are capitalized. Abbreviation for Bachelor of Chemistry. Or we could also say chemistry, but that doesn't make any sense, does it? Now we have BCHE. They are all caps except for the H. I assume chemistry is going to be in here somewhere. It is an abbreviation for Bachelor of Chemical Engineering. I was close. Now we have BCL, all caps, abbreviation for 1, Bachelor of Canon Law. And the canon is spelled C-A-N-O-N. And then number 2, Bachelor of Civil Law. Now we have BCN, all caps. This is an abbreviation for beacon. Excuse me. And then our last word for this episode is B complex. Capital B, and then the word complex. Noun from 1933, and we just have the synonym vitamin B complex. Oh boy, there were some good ones in this episode. Let's see. I think I'm going to pick, blah, 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 blah. Let's pick B-boy as the word of the episode. I'll try and find pictures for some of the other ones I kind of liked. Yeah, I think that's it. Just a reminder to be aware of what you're touching, especially door handles. I think a lot of people, when they leave the bathroom especially, they don't think about the fact that a lot of people don't wash their hands, and then they touch the door, and then they got their hands dirty again. So whenever I'm leaving the bathroom, I always make sure I've got a paper towel in my hand or in my shirt if I have to, and I open it. I don't want to touch it. I know it sounds crazy, it sounds germophobic, but trust me, this is what you have to do to stop the spread of germs, and that is not, now is a time that has ever been more important. That sentence didn't make sense, but you understood what I meant. It is more important now than it ever has been to be aware of all of these things. When you actually start to think about what you touch every day, also don't touch your face. Make sure your hands are super clean before you touch your face. Try not to touch your face at all. Anyway, coughing, sneezing. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Do it into your elbow or into a towel, tissue, something, but also wash your hands afterward. I can't tell you how many people we see, especially at our gym, who go blow their nose, and then they just go right back to working out or doing whatever they're doing. We were in a bar. This guy was like hacking up and snorting and blew his nose, and then he just started touching stuff. Come on, be smart. Anyway, this has been Spencer dispensing information. Thanks and goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of this most amazing podcast called The Dictionary. It's the podcast that I'm saying to you. Oh, I think I'm getting delirious. Okay, we are at the third quarter of page 105. Sorry, I don't think I've said that recently. Maybe I have. It's been so long, my brain is broken. The first word is BCS, all caps. It is an abbreviation for 1, Bachelor of Chemical Science. Number 2, Bowl Championship Series. Now we have BD, both lowercase, abbreviation for 1, Barrels per Day. Is that the count of how many people go down Niagara Falls in barrels? There were 17 BDs today. That was a real good day for BDs. Number 2, it is an abbreviation for board. Number 3, bound. Number 4, boundary. And number 5, bundle. Now we have BD again, all caps, abbreviation for 1, Bachelor of Divinity. Number 2, bank draft. Number 3, bills discounted. And number 4, no, there's one more after that. Number 4, bomb disposal. And number 5, brought down. Now we have an interesting word. It is dilium. I think that's how it's pronounced, but it is spelled BDELIUM. Dilium, sort of. The B is silent. This is a noun from the 14th century. A gum resin similar to myrrh obtained from various trees of the East Indies and Africa. So myrrh, if you don't know, is spelled MYRRH. And it is obtained from the various trees. The genus name is Commiphora. Moving on to BD, second word FT. All lowercase. This is an abbreviation for board foot. Now we have BDL or BDLE. All lowercase, abbreviation for bundle. And we had bundle abbreviated before as BD, so, you could do BD or BDL or BDLE, and you might as well at that point just spell out the whole word, BUNDLE. Now we have BDRM, all lowercase, abbreviation for bedroom. Now we've got BDU, all caps. It is an abbreviation for battle dress uniform. Next is a long one. It is the word be, B-E. It is a verb. Oh boy, lots of information to say. Okay, so usually I don't say these things, but this one is just kind of different and fun. And, fun? I don't know. And for those of you who are not native English speakers, maybe this will help. I'm going to probably screw this up, but I will try. So, the past form of be in the first and third singular forms is the word was, like I was doing dishes. And then the second singular form, also in the past, is were. So that would be two people or more, and you'd say we were doing the dishes. How two or more people can do dishes in the sink at the same time, I don't know, but, that's what I said. And then the plural is were as well. The past subjunctive is were. The past participle is been, like I have been doing the dishes, or I will have been doing the dishes. I don't know. I'm screwing this up. And then it says chiefly British. Present participle is being, B-E-I-N-G. The present singular or first singular is am, like I am doing the dishes. The second singular is are. So this is all in the present right now. We are doing the dishes. The third singular is, like it is doing the dishes. And then the plural is are, we are. And the present subjunctive is be again. And that was fun. So this is a verb from before the 12th century. 1a, to equal in meaning, have the same connotation as, and a synonym is symbolize. So we read all those different forms of the word because, depending on the context, we're going to use a different word in all of these examples instead of the word be. So this example for 1a is God is love. Also is in January is the first month. Also is in let X be 10. And now we have 1b, to have identity with, as in the first person I met was my brother. Chances are the first person you met was your mother, but, maybe not. Now 1c. Well, no, it was actually probably the doctor or the midwife or the doula, somebody like that. Now 1c, to constitute the same class as. 1d, to have a specified qualification or characterization, as in, the leaves are green. 1e, to belong to the class of, as in, the fish is a trout. And that is used regularly in senses 1a through 1e as the copula of simple predication. Words I should know the meaning of, but I don't. Now we have 2a, to have an objective existence, have reality or actuality, and the synonym is live, L-I-V-E, as in, I think, therefore I am. That, it doesn't say this, but that is a quote from the philosopher René Descartes, who, is talking about consciousness. The fact that I think, I can think about things in my existence, that means I am, I exist. I don't know a lot about what philosophers have said, but that's a pretty famous one. All right, now we have 2b, to have, maintain, or occupy a place, situation, or position, as in, the book is on the table. And if the book could think, it would say, I think, therefore, I don't know. 2c, to remain unmolested, undisturbed, or uninterrupted, and that is used only in infinitive form, as in, let him be. And then the Beatles song is, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. 2d, to take place. Synonym is occur, as in, the concert was last night. Now we have 2e, to come or go, as in, has already been and gone. Also as in, has never been to the circus. Now we have 2f, this is archaic. The synonyms are belong and befall. Okay, now we are in something that says it is verbal auxiliary. I don't know what that means, but we are going to read these definitions. Number 1, it says used with the past participle of transitive verbs as a passive voice auxiliary, as in, the money was found. Also as in, the house is being built. Number 2, used as the auxiliary of the present participle in progressive tenses expressing continuous action, as in, he is reading. Also as in, I have been sleeping. Well, you wouldn't say that until you would wake up, so you would say, I was sleeping. Anyway, number 3, used with the past participle of some intransitive verbs as an auxiliary forming archaic perfect tenses, as in, oh, here we go with this book being on the Christian side. Again, not judging, but I also don't think that you should have a religious lean in your dictionary. Anyway, the example is Christ is risen from the dead, and that is from 1 Corinthians 15:20, and then it says DV. I don't know what that is. Number 4, used with the infinitive with the word to, T-O, to express futurity, arrangement in advance, or obligation, as in, I am to interview him today. Well, who would talk like that? I am to interview him today? No. Also as in, she was to become famous. Well, that was the word be. We only have a few more. Let's finish this episode up. Gall darn it. Now we have B-E, capital B, lowercase e. It is the symbol for beryllium. Now we have B-E again, capital B, but the E has an accent. It is an abbreviation for Baume. I remember reading that one. Should we go back and look what that was? It is being calibrated in accordance with or according to either of two arbitrary hydrometer scales for liquids lighter than water or for liquids heavier than water that indicate specific gravity in degrees. That was from like 4 episodes ago. Okay, last word for this episode is BE, all caps. It is an abbreviation for 1, Bachelor of Education. Number 2, Bachelor of Engineering. Number 3, Bill of Exchange. And 4, Black English. What is Black English? So many options. I don't know. I hope they're not bad. Let's see. I'm going to pick dillium. I think that's how it's pronounced. Dillium as the word of the episode because it is spelled super funky with a B at the beginning. And I think that's all. Oh, you know what? I'll tell you. Oh, my hand. It hurts. I was holding the mic for so long. I am going to tell you about another podcast I'm listening to in case you're curious. There's too many things of content out there. I just heard of a new show on Netflix that's coming out in April. It is called, I think, The Midnight Gospel. It is made by Pendleton Ward, who created Adventure Time, which I still haven't finished watching that show, but I have watched through most of it. That is a fun show, good for kids and adults. And then it's also by Duncan Trussell, who is a very fascinating comic who gets very philosophical and spiritual. And so the two of them teamed up and made the show Midnight Gospel, and I am super excited to watch that. Anyway, let's see. What do I want to tell you? Well, I'll just say the big one, Mark Maron's podcast, WTF. Probably one of the biggest podcasts out there. It's been on one of the longest running podcasts. And I think he's great and he's funny and his guests are great and he's a great interviewer. And he's got a new special called, what is it? End Times Fun. And yeah, that just came out recently. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Thank you and goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of the podcast Dictionary. Today is March 29th. This is National Vietnam War Veterans Day. And I know a couple Vietnam War veterans personally, so obviously we thank you for your service. And you went through a rough time, and I'm sure that spurred on a lot more rough times. So yeah, again, we do thank you for your service and all veterans. I am recording this 10 days before this is airing, so I have no idea what the world is going to be like. I know I've said that at least once or twice before, but yeah, it's true. The last few days have been weird with this coronavirus, and I don't know. It's heartbreaking to see a lot of the things that are going on. A lot of the well, I'll give you an example. My wife and I heard a couple stories of Asian Americans who have been beaten up and or mistreated in various ways just because people seem to think that it was their fault, that they are the ones who are only susceptible to this, that who knows what the thought process is. But it doesn't make any sense. I remember when the SARS virus thing happened, I was actually in an Asian restaurant waiting to pick up some food, and somebody came in to pick up food and said to the person there something along the lines of, are you afraid of the SARS virus? Which it doesn't make any sense, because they were in America, and at the time it was only over in Asia, and I'm just baffled at the ignorance that is out there. Sorry for being so political, but this is what is happening. I mean, this is affecting every single aspect of life of every human being, all whatever 7.5 billion of us. And Asian restaurants are hurting business. I just saw a headline that this is. Sorry, I didn't read the article, but it was something about how this is affecting Chinatown, in like San Francisco or Chicago or whatever you're talking about. But yeah, Asian restaurants are hurting because people think that they are the cause of this or something, that they're going to get coronavirus from eating their food, but it doesn't make any sense. This was because it was because of the spread from animals. So again, I'm vegan. I'm going to fully support that more people do that, because the chances of something like this happening will be much less the more people do that. I am hoping that, with a lot less people driving and factories being shut down, we're going to see some help in our climate change. I know that in, I think, China and Beijing and other countries in that area, that they are seeing the blue sky for the first time, and the water in Venice is clear for the first time in who knows how long. And that's just going to keep on getting better the longer and longer. Of course, when this is all blown over, everything's going to go back to the way it was, and all that's going to go bad. But, hopefully we're getting a little bit of respite from that. And what was the other thing I was going to say about that? Oh, and in terms of hand washing and being clean, I think I've said this before, but this is what people should be doing all the time. And so I hope that at least a small percentage of people, after this all blows over, if it ever does, I hope a small percentage of people keep on being aware of what they're touching and who they're touching and who they're close by and how they're living their lives and washing their hands. And, you got to keep it up. So I've talked for 4 minutes about this, and we are now going to start with some words. It just feels weird to get back into this, but, we gotta charge forward. So the first word is the prefix be. Let's see. It is, we don't have a year. It's a prefix. I said that. Number 1, on, around, or over, as in besmear. And yeah, I feel like I have a really weird mood, attitude right now, so I know that that's going to come through in my voice, but apologies. It's just a really weird time right now, and I'm just very conflicted is all. All right, number 2, to a great or greater degree, thoroughly, as in befuddle. Number 3, excessively, ostentatiously. I think I said that right. It says in intensive verbs formed from simple verbs. I'll read that again. In intensive verbs formed from simple verbs, as in bedeck, and in adjectives based on adjectives ending in ed, as in beribboned. Beribboned? So like something that has a ribbon around it? All right, number 4. By the way, these are all separated by colons. So like in the first one, it said on, colon, around, colon, over. And then number 3, it said excessively, colon, ostentatiously. And so those are just, I don't know. Again, I don't have a real specific definition for what that is in here, but, that's why I'm separating them out. So number 4, it says about, colon, to, at, upon, against, across, as in bestride. Number 5, make, cause to be, treat as in belittle, or also befriend. Number 6, call or dub, especially excessively, as in Be doctor. I have never heard of that word before. Be doctor? Number 7, affect, afflict, treat, provide, or cover with especially excessively. Man, these definitions are weird. As in, bedevil and befog. And these are words I've never seen. So let's see. This is Middle English from Old English bi or be, akin to the Old English bi with the horizontal line over the I, which means by or near, and there's more at the word by. Now we have the first form of beach. It is a noun from circa 1535. 1, shore pebbles. Yeah, shore pebbles. That's a funny... I would also just call that sand, but I kind of like shore pebbles. Let's see. Synonym is shingle. Shingle? Okay. 2A, a shore of a body of water covered by sand, gravel, or larger rock fragments. And then 2B, a seashore area. Now we have the second form of beach. It is a transitive verb from 1799. 1, to run or drive ashore. Number 2, to strand on or as if on a beach. Now we've got beach ball, 2 words, noun from 1940. A large inflated ball for use at the beach. But you don't have to use it at a beach. You can use it wherever you want. You might have it be taken away, like if you're at a concert. But, yep. Now we have beach boy, 1 word, noun from 1938. A male beach attendant, as at a hotel. Now we have beach buggy, 2 words, noun from 1943. Synonym is dune buggy. Now we have beach comber, 1 word, noun from 1840. 1, a white man living as a drifter or loafer, especially on the islands of the South Pacific. That's highly specific. Number 2, a person who searches along a shore as for saleable refuse or for seashells. And then beachcomb is a verb. That first definition threw me for a loop. But, I don't live in the South Pacific in the islands over there, so I've never heard it. But yeah, that was kind of interesting. Now we have beach flea, 2 words, noun from 1843. And we have the number 2 definition for sand flea. Now we've got beach front, 1 word, noun from 1921. A strip of land that fronts a beach. Next is beach goer, 1 word, noun from 1954. A person who frequently goes to the beach. Next is beach grass, noun from 1681. Any of several tough, strongly rooted grasses that grow on exposed sandy shores, especially any of a genus of rhizomatous or rhizomatous perennials widely planted to bind sandy slopes. And the genus name is Ammophila. Next is beachhead, 1 word, noun from 1940. 1, an area on a hostile shore occupied to secure further landing of troops and supplies. Number 2, synonym is foothold. Now we have beach pea, 2 words. Pea is like a pea in a pod, P-E-A. It is a noun from 1802. A wild pea having tough roots and purple flowers that is found along sandy shores. And the scientific name is Lathyrus japonicus. I wonder if that's like Japan. It's spelled a little differently, but it says japonicus. And then it says S-Y-N. I don't know if that's syntax or something, but we have Lathyrus maritimus. Next is beach plum, 2 words, noun from 1741. A shrubby plum having white flowers and growing chiefly along the northeastern coast of North America. Also, it's edible, usually dark purple fruit that is used especially in preserves. And the scientific name is Prunus maritima. Next is beachside, 1 word, adjective from 1952. Located at a beach, as in beachside property. Next is beach towel, 2 words, noun from 1958. A very large, usually brightly colored towel designed for use at the beach. I love beach towels because they're so big. I don't like those little towels that they give you at the pool. I like the big towels. Now we have beachwear, one word, noun from 1928, clothing for wear at a beach. Next is beachy, adjective from 1597, one, covered with pebbles or shingle. All right, I gotta look up what shingle is. I won't do it now, but I have not been aware of shingle used in this context. Number 2, characterized by beaches, as in a beachy island. Next is beacon, first form, noun from the 14th century. 1, a signal fire commonly on a hill, tower, or pole. Number 2, a lighthouse or other signal for guidance. 2b, a radio transmitter emitting signals to guide aircraft. Number 3, a source of light or inspiration. This is from Middle English, beacon, from Old English, beacon, B-E-A-C-E-N. By the way, the Middle English is B-E-K-E-N. And the Old English one means sign, S-I-G-N. It is akin to the Old High German, Buhan, B-O-U-H-H-A-N, which means sign. Now we have the second form of beacon. It is a verb. Oh, dictionary. It is a verb from 1650. Intransitive definition says to shine as a beacon. And then the transitive definition says to furnish with a beacon. And now we have the last word for today. It is the first form of bead, B-E-A-D. And this will go over to the next page. Page 106, for those keeping track. It is a noun from before the 12th century. 1a is obsolete, and we have the synonym prayer, and that is usually used in plural. Now we have 1b is also plural, a series of prayers and meditations made with a rosary. Number 2, a small piece of material pierced for threading on a string or wire, as in a rosary. Number 3 is plural. Number 3a. So all of 3 is plural, and we have A and B. A just has the synonym rosary, and 3b says a necklace of beads or pearls. Number 4, a small ball-shaped body, as 4a, a drop of sweat or blood. 4b, a bubble formed in or on a beverage. 4c, a small metal knob on a firearm used as a front sight. 4d, a blob or a line of weld metal. That was where the page flip was. A blob or a line of weld metal. Now we have number 5, a projecting rim, band, or molding. And number 6, a precise knowledge or understanding, used in such phrases as get a bead on. I remember in high school, I was getting into crossword puzzles, and that was one of the clues, I think, get a bead on, and I never understood what it was. And then finally, somebody either told me or we figured it out that it means basically to aim. Like if you've got a gun or you're focusing on something, you get a bead on it. You get a bead on them. So that I have a very specific memory of when I learned about what that phrase was. This is from the Middle English word bead, which is spelled B-E-D-E, and that means prayer or prayer bead. From Old English, bed or gebed. So bed is just the normal word bed, and then gebed has G-E at the beginning, and that means prayer. And akin to the Old English, bidan, which means to entreat or pray, and there's more at the word bid. I'm curious why there's at least two very different forms of this. There's the prayer version, and then there's beads, like a bead of drop of water or whatever. Anyway, let's see. Now I have to pick a word of the episode. Sorry, I will have a much better mood in the next episode, hopefully. I'm going to pick beach towel as the word of the episode because I like big beach towels, and I cannot lie. Thank you very much for listening to me rant about things at the beginning of this. And, stay safe, be smart, don't be mean, wash your hands, stay home. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Thank you and goodbye.